Do you want to know how to enroll 50 new students a month? So do I. So if you find the group that can teach that, please DM me and let me know. But what I can do for you is help you increase your odds of having a record 2026. Join us for Jumpstart Live in Orlando, Florida, March 27th and 28th. Take a look at the schedule, look at all the sessions that we're offering on this 2-day live event. The best part, in Orlando, Florida, when you fly into the airport, you do not have to get an Uber, you do not have to get a car. We are right there in the Hyatt Regency, right in the Orlando International Airport. Just take the escalator up and let's start learning and setting up a record 2026 for your school.
Mike Metzger, Shane Tassoul. This is Real Talk, because not everything has to be about business.
I love these intros, man. What these guys come up with and do. It's just craziness to me. How about we just hit play or record and just start talking?
That's great.
Anyway,
Great.
Mr. Stan Lee. How are you?
I am outstanding, sir. It's great to see you.
Right on. Stan, nice to meet you.
People don't know.
Hello, Shane. Shane, did you know how I met? Shane, did you know how I met Mike Metzger?
I don't know if I know that.
This is a story, and it's a funny thing that I don't think most people know about Mike Metzger. That Mike Metzger is not just a business guy; he's a legitimate badass. Did you know that?
I did not know this. No.
You did not know that.
Of course you did, Shane.
Well,
yes.
Back in the day, I fought in a martial arts tournament called the World's Martial Arts Festival in Orlando. And while I was there, I won the absolute in submission grappling. And I met a young Brazilian guy who came up to me in a broken Portuguese accent and kind of invited me to come train where he had been doing some teaching. And I went to his school in Orlando for a day class. And there was this little guy named Mike that was a white belt in the class that was grappling. This was like 1996. And I had just won the absolute, beat a guy 275 pounds when I'm like 189 at the time. And this little white belt guy in this class is tapping me out. Going, what is going on here? And that's when I started training with his instructor at the time, who was our instructor for a while. We were on the same team with Dino Cherim. And that's how I met Mike Metzger. First time I met him, he was tapping me out.
You know what, Stan? Here's what you don't know, though. And then we'll get started. But here's what you don't know. I remember that. I remember sitting there watching you. And you were in the black belt division. And I remember you cleaned your division. And it was, if you remember, it wasn't just submission grappling. You could take down. There was some. It was fighting, kicks, punches.
Well, there was two divisions. I fought both in the open grappling and in the punching, kicking, and grappling. Yeah,
that's right. And you beat your division. Then I remember they said, "Hey, will you fight the heavyweight?" Because nobody was there for this division. Mm-hmm. And you said, "Sure, I'll do that." And you submit this guy.
Yeah,
And then go ahead. And then I remember Dino though saying, "Oh man, he needs to come to my class. I'm gonna call." And I'm like, "Dude, what are you talking about? He just mopped the tournament. He just cleaned it out." I go, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "No, man, he's good, but little techniques, little details. I'm gonna tell him he's gonna come. He comes to my class." I'm like, "Leave him alone, man. What are you doing?" And then sure enough, you showed up on that Monday night, I remember, and the rest is history. And you started driving from Daytona. A couple nights a week, coming down to Orlando, and yeah.
Yep. Then eventually Dino started coming and teaching at my place two nights a week, And the rest was history. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. So everybody thinks Mike Metzger is just this business guru, but don't get on the ground with him either. I'm just telling you.
Well, thank you, Stan. And I've heard that people have said, why would I want to learn how to run my business from Mike Metzger? He's not even a martial artist. That's out there, And I still train. I trained yesterday with Mike Lee. I don't know if you know Mike Lee from the jungle, Jason Patino, and a group of guys. I'm on the mats. So, I mean, look, at the end of the day, we're martial artists, but we also have businesses. And that's why you're here, because I would like you. And then Shane, if you have questions on anything as far as, my badassery or anything, please, let's get that out of the way now.
No problem. Hey, and by the way, I'm not sure why I get this. So when I jump off screen, when it disconnects, I can still hear you guys, and I'm just logging back. So something bizarre has happened. It's happened the last couple of times, so I got to figure out what that is. But just so you know, I can still hear you guys when you're doing that. So I'll jump right back in if that happens.
Mr. Stan, can you educate everybody for the people who may know about it, people who don't, Black Belt principles, what you're doing, some of the books in your background there, how you can help school owners. And before you do that, I'm going to pre-frame this by saying, listen, at the end of the day for school owners, there's three things that we have to do, right? You have to recruit new students, you got to keep them, and you got to learn how to generate revenue. But to do that effectively, you got to separate yourself somehow from the competition, from the average person on the street, from the mom or the dad that needs to find a martial arts school or wants to find a martial arts school. How do you first separate yourself, show that what you have may be different than the person down the street? And then how do you engage with the kids to keep them excited, motivated, interested, to want to keep coming back? And that's the secret sauce. And I know that you have a built-in system that's a turnkey deal for school owners that accomplishes that. But why don't you tell us about it?
And let me just interrupt 1 second, and maybe even go back even further than that. And how did you even come up with this idea, and why?
Well, I can tell you that I am not the primary founder and creator of Harry and Friends Black Belt Principles. That is my wife, and it's been a partnership with her and me. She likes to call me her beautiful spokesmodel, right? So I'm the one who gets to be on the screen, or maybe get to be front and center at the trade show, because I can relate to school owners. But the big difference is, I've always been a serious martial artist, focused on self-defense, so on and so forth. But we all know that most moms interested in martial arts for their kids are looking at some of the other many benefits of martial arts training. They're looking for character development. They're looking for perseverance. They're looking for confidence. They're looking for discipline. And when I would do my little mat chat with the kids and talk about a character development topic, a lot of the time, especially with the younger kids, their eyes would glaze over and they're staring off into space. It's difficult for them to concentrate. And it's very hard for a young child, a 4 or 5, 6, even a 7-year-old sometimes, to wrap their mind around an abstract concept like, say, self-discipline or perseverance. They definitely learn things visually. So my wife comes from a drama background. She's an Xbox television actress and producer. She is a children's book author. You can see she's written 11 children's books there all around me in my background here. And when it originally started, she took this character she had created and she made me a little flip book with some scenes, some visual scenes of our little character Harry maybe showing self-discipline by choosing fruits and vegetables over candy, or by keeping his eyes on his instructor when he's teaching, he was showing concentration. And when we would tell stories and use these visual aids, I mean, all the kids today are raised on media. They're raised on cartoon characters. There's a reason you walk down the cereal aisle and all you see is cartoon characters, right? The kids relate to them. They're interested in them. They're colorful. And once they've seen these characters enough, they become heroes to them and somebody they want to copy and emulate. So between the books we've written, the cartoons we've produced, we've created a situation in our school and our client schools where we have a genuine cartoon character that the kids follow and want to emulate. And we set a positive example with them through mat chats and through other media that we exchange with them to really change the behavior of children. Because, Mike talked about we have to get new students. That's not necessarily my department, although a little bit what you talked about is true. Our focus is retention. If we don't keep the promises our marketing makes, if we're marketing and saying that we improve self-discipline and we improve confidence and courage and perseverance and concentration, all these things, and then all you're doing is you're getting on the mat and doing your forms, and the mom or dad doesn't get how that might be attempting to reach those goals, they're going to feel like it's a bait and switch, and they're going to very quickly pivot and move in another direction if they don't see an instantaneous change in their child's behavior, or at least see you trying to move them in that direction. And when it comes to little kids, very hard to hold their attention with a purely verbal mat chat. It's difficult. I often think most of the character development talks or the mat chats that are going on in most martial arts schools is more character development theater than actual character development. And the reason is the parents are hearing you talk about these important topics and they're happy that it's being addressed. But a lot of the information is going straight over the children's heads because they can't wrap their mind around an abstract concept. I often compare it to if you're going to teach a front kick, okay? Do you walk up to that 4-year-old and say, okay, Johnny, I want you to pick your knee up until your thigh is parallel with the floor, flex your quadricep, and strike the bag with the ball of your foot. You don't. If you said that, the kid would be looking at you and just tilt his head like my dog does, right? But if you walk up and demonstrate a front kick, he picks it up and he's got it within a few repetitions. It's the same thing by teaching visually through the visual aids we create, the videos we produce. These kids can connect with these topics in a way that's much more real to them. And the plain fact of the matter is it just plain works, right? You actually get the results you're looking for.
Hey, Steph, so going back, so I want to make sure anyone watching this understands this, and that is, as far as the recruitment on new students, every school says what you just said. Every school says we teach confidence and we're going to teach discipline and this. The difference is with your program, you could show them exactly how you're going to teach that. Mm-hmm. And it's a system. That's why I said it would help with recruiting, because when someone comes in, remember, you're not separating yourself from another martial arts school by telling the prospect, we could help your child with discipline, respect, confidence, self-defense. Every one of us says that.
Right.
It's when you can tell them and show them how you do that, that is what makes the difference, where they might say, okay, I think this is the school I want to go to. And as you're talking about the program, real quick, what are the age groups for this specifically?
The Harry and Friends program is, the Harry and Friends program is more from, say, 3.5 to 7. The books are probably good all the way up until 9. And we have other programs and curriculums that are designed for older kids as well, and for adults or teenagers. But the main focus of the Harry and Friends program is to bridge that communication gap with your younger students and to keep your younger students until they become older students.
You're right. So for any schools that have a Little Dragons program, Children's Basic, under 7, what this is a system that's, Stan, is it fair to say it's done for you? I mean,
absolutely. And just having a system itself, as we all know, when you're trying to run a business, especially if you've got staff, not everybody has the charisma of the master instructor to step up there and give a stump speech that's enthralling to all the students. If you've got some 17, 18, 19-year-old teaching your class, he's obviously not going to wow them with his life experience and talking about when he was in Okinawa and he learned about perseverance, right? So having a system in place where it's all done for you and it's already attractive and it's already communicates them in a way they understand. If we make sure that this lesson is being delivered in every class, that they're getting this message, it's going to result in a long-term retention boost. Where if you're just doing it based on your personality And based on when you remember and you found an extra 30 seconds at the end of class, if it's inconsistent, you're not going to see the results.
And what does the program entail? Like, what do you get?
The curriculum itself is designed. You've got your theme every month. You get, and it's interesting the way the program has evolved over time. And if you remember back in the early day when we were an early sponsor of the Super Show, we had a series of actual physical posters we would deliver in a picture frame that you would pull that poster over to the corner of the mat and have a mat chat around it. And you kind of do a back and forth question and answer session with leading questions, getting the kids to concentrate in the visual and see what they can pick up from. That then progressed to a digital program where we didn't have to drive to the UPS store every month and ship hundreds of posters to schools all over the world. Now it's all delivered through a television set with a visual aid. And now it's progressed from a still picture to basically a PowerPoint presentation with a series of questions and answers and a series of problems and conclusions that happen to show the kids what happens and what's a great example of showing perseverance, or what's the great example of the benefits of having discipline. So in all the programs that we do, our little character has a problem. He gets the source of his character development is from his martial arts instructor. And then he takes the advice his martial arts instructor gives him, and then he has success out in the real world when he applies it. So it's designed to pre-frame him. All these books have great character development topics. All the mat chats are character development topics, but they all focus around teaching the children that your source of character development is your martial arts instructor. And if you follow his advice, you're going to have a great life and you're going to have success at what you're doing. So, and as you talked about in the in your onboarding process, as you're explaining to your new students about how you're going to teach character development, in our introductory process, the way we do it, we send a cartoon home after the first introductory lesson that basically helps reinforce all the things that were taught in the first lesson. So these little kids are watching this cartoon 14, 15,000 times in between the first lesson and the second lesson. They come back, they've got it all memorized. They're cleaning their room without being told because that's what the character does in the cartoon. And mom and dad are going, I really like this martial arts stuff. Johnny cleaned his room. I've never had to not tell him to clean his room before. So by setting that example, it's very powerful. A friend of mine once told me that, he has real trouble, getting his daughter to do her chores. But if Dora the Explorer told her she needed a kidney, the kid would be running around the house with a steak knife. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's the way the kids look at these cartoon characters. They're superheroes to them, and they can't wait to be just like them.
And go ahead, Tass.
Do you have a certain number of words, like, or like we have 24 different words or 12 or whatever?
Yes, there are 24 different themes.
Okay.
And the repetition in them are disguised. So we have, so it doesn't feel like they just heard this last week or this, that, or whatever. So, for example, we may have perseverance and indomitable spirit. We may have modesty and humility. We may have perseverance. We may have self-control and self-discipline. But so they're different themes, and they have different situations in them and different stories to tell that story. And they all rotate. It's a 24-month rotating curriculum.
So over time, I think the life skills portion for most people, right? They try and, as martial arts schoolers, try to deliver that in whatever way, shape, or form they can do it. Some of them have a systematic approach. Some of them it's just kind of hit and miss, and they do whatever. But I got to imagine over time, and you touched on this just a little bit when you said after the first introductory lesson. Mm-hmm. What are some other ways, as opposed to just so right now I'm assuming what I'm guessing is there's sort of a whether that's before class starts to use the word the whole class, or at the end of the class to go over that word, and it's kind of the word of the month. But what are some other ways or creative ways that you found to implement your program inside of your martial arts school, if that makes sense?
Well, there are all kinds of additional supporting materials. Typically what happens is, if students attend twice a week, they're going to get a mat chat they're going to get first a video introducing the theme of the month at the beginning of the month. And then there's going to be 4 different PowerPoint presentations, each one delegated per each week of the month. And then there is a coloring sheet and homework that is given in the first class every week, and then retrieved in the second class, which then gets put up on a bulletin board. So we have a bulletin board of colored coloring sheets in the school that any parent walking in will see. Obviously, we're very kid friendly, and that character development is a core part of our school, because we have a bulletin board with hundreds of coloring sheets up on an entire wall that shows them learning about perseverance or whatever our theme is that month. They get a different coloring sheet every week. And we encourage the parents, of course, to use the visual aid on the coloring sheet to maybe ask some leading questions the same way we do in the mat chat. So they might ask Johnny, he's coloring a scene from the mat chat on his coloring sheet. And, you know, a lot of people use coloring sheets. There are a lot of people out there that have tried to make coloring sheets as an extra activity. But if the coloring sheet doesn't have characters actually acting out that life skill, if it's just the word perseverance, this verbal, that does nothing for a child, for their comprehension of character development. So these coloring sheets are a picture of our main character, Harry, actually showing perseverance, or actually showing self-discipline and living it, right? And it always is structured so that he learns about it in the martial arts school. He demonstrates, for example, perseverance at the martial arts school. The next week, he's going to demonstrate it at home. The next week, he's going to demonstrate it at school. The next week, he's going to demonstrate it out in the real world with his friends. So they begin to relate to, oh, this character development stuff isn't just, I don't just say yes, sir, in the karate school. I say yes, sir, at home and at school, and when I meet my grandparents at the mall or whatever is going on, right? So that they begin to frame this as, this is how I live my life. This is not just something I do when I'm at martial arts class. And then we have additional, you know, a complete suite of video emails where if Johnny didn't come to class this day, Harry, he's getting an email himself from Harry asking him how he's doing and when's he coming back to class. It's his birthday. Harry's wishing him a happy birthday. It's Halloween. Harry is telling him to be careful when he goes trick-or-treating and not eat all his candy in one day. So we have all this supporting material we've produced so that this character becomes their favorite cartoon character, that they want to buy all the books and they want to wear the tattoos and they want a sticker that has Harry on them. So by creating this, because to that 4-year-old, they don't understand that a martial arts school owner in Ormond Beach, Florida, and his wife produced all these amazing things. He's watching it he's watching the cartoon on his tablet. Right. To him, it's equal to SpongeBob or anyone else he's ever seen. He doesn't know that it's not straight out of Disney or Hollywood or Pixar or whatever. So it's very powerful when they start associating this good behavior. I mean, so many of our kids have bad behavior because they're watching SpongeBob act like a lunatic and they're copying him, right? We set out to make Harry the anti-SpongeBob, that he's going to set a positive example. And when the kids watch the cartoons and read the books, they're going to have positive character traits as a result of copying them instead of negative.
That's great. Love it. Love it.
As you're talking about that too, with a lot of clients that we have, Stan, they're always trying to figure out ways to break into the school systems or daycares to talk about character education. I mean, this is just more leverage for people who have issues or have trouble or need something to be able to say, hey, here's what we can do and how we can teach these kids.
Absolutely.
Again,
we've done book readings, for example. Go into school for reading help. Take some of our books in. The clients who subscribe to our character development system have the ability to buy these books wholesale and retail them in their school for not only additional profit, but once again, to continually reinforce the idea that the source of character development is your martial arts school. That's where you get it from. So they have the ability to do that too. They can go into the school system with reading, take some of our books and read them.
Now the books, Stan, the books behind you, those are just on their own books. They have nothing to do with the ranks or the system or do
Absolutely. Everything in Harry and Friends is meant to be style neutral. It's not meant to promote my particular style of martial arts or my school or anything like that. It's all designed. Harry lives in his own little world called Sunshine City, and he goes to his own martial arts school. And outside of an occasional punch or kick in the demonstration, there isn't a lot of martial arts in it. I try to keep it as style neutral as possible. More, it's all about character development. We don't, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, there's a lot of programs out there that try to tell people how to run their classes and what to teach in their classes. We're strictly character development. I figure if you have a black belt, you should know how to teach your classes already. We just want to help you with communicating the character development part. And then my wife has also dove more into training for instructors with neurodivergent students on the spectrum. So we've got some courses that are just recently coming out to help instructors and staff communicate these things much better and understand more the way the mind works. My wife has produced producing a complete video suite of instructor training on how to deal with ADD, ADHD, different neurodivergent on the spectrum, so on and so forth. So we're offering that material as well.
Hey, I don't know if you see the question up here by Mr. Alvarez.
Is what available on video just yet, Mr. Alvarez?
And if people were listening to that too earlier, you also, and you said something about the introductory lesson, and I don't know exactly what that is to tie that in, but that's one way to get people to come back. So now it's outside of just a character program that we present or pitch every week or every month in classes, but now it's a way for them to go do something where parents are going to see the value of that before they come in, maybe on class 2 or before their trial expires to enroll. Then I heard you say the Harry's wishing them a happy birthday.
Right.
Then I heard you say we do them use them for our misuse. Like there's other systems that are wrapped in, which I love that about.
Absolutely. Yeah. We've produced 2 full-length cartoons, 2 20-minute plus cartoons. One is all about Harry earning his white belt, and it's the greatest day of his life. And it's all about boosting your enrollment percentages with that age group. And the second one is called Harry Gets in the Swing of Things, A Lesson in Perseverance, where Harry goes to a black belt test and watches his friend Ricky earn his black belt and sets his goal of earning his black belt himself. So yes, the characters are in here this is not like Kung Fu Panda is learning from the Shaolin Temple in the clouds. Harry is learning martial arts in a genuine commercial martial arts school with cubbies and mats and instructors, and he's having the same experience that all of our young students are having. He's going through the same problems that those kids are having, whether they're having trouble concentrating or getting their room clean or all those things. So it's very relatable to these kids. And it reinforces, hey, if your favorite cartoon character does martial arts like you and has an instructor he listens to, then maybe you're going to keep doing that too. Right? So it's meant to set an example. And the same systems. I mean, Mike and I both grew up a lot in educational funding company back in the day when we first got some of our initial things. So a lot of the systems that I learned through there were kind of built in. So the idea of a black belt club, the idea of a student creed, the idea of all these things. And it doesn't have to be exactly the same as what you're doing in your school. The point is to the children, Harry is having the same experience as them, and he's having success, and that you should copy his behavior.
That's great. That's great.
I love the fact that there's a video after somebody comes in. Did you say after somebody comes in or inquires or does an intro, then they're getting a video?
Absolutely, yes. They're getting a 20-minute cartoon. So the way we usually do it, the way we run our system, because I'm still heavily involved, our school has a huge after-school program in summer camp. And so I don't do a 6-week trial or a 4-week trial or that kind of thing, because most of the people coming in, some of them are there just for regular classes, and most of them are there for after school or summer camp. So we do 2 private introductory lessons, old school, with every new student coming in. So whenever we have a student in that age range, he goes through his first introductory lesson. When he does his first introductory lesson, the introductory lesson is almost exactly the same as that first cartoon. That cartoon is my introductory lesson taught by a 7-foot animated lizard, so they actually pay attention to it. Okay. And we explain to the parents at the end of the introductory lesson, hey, I know we've gone over a lot of material in a short period of time, and Johnny's only 4, and he's going to pick up certain things, but I have some tools available here that are specifically designed for someone his age to make sure that they internalize some of the peak parts of this lesson. And it's a cartoon. It's called Harry's First Martial Arts Lesson. And we're gonna email it to you so Johnny can watch it on his tablet or on your phone or whatever way you'd like to deliver it to him. And the more he watches this cartoon, the more he's going to remember it. It's going to talk about the importance of eye contact and showing self-discipline and keeping his room clean and not going around and punching and kicking each other. It's going to reinforce all the important lessons of this introductory lesson. And at the end of the lesson, of course, Harry comes back for at the end of the cartoon, Harry comes back for his second lesson, earns his white belt, and it's the greatest day of his life. To make sure that little Johnny is really hyped up and excited to come back for the second lesson, earn his white belt, and join the class with all his friends. So it's designed to do that. And then whenever it's ready, whatever you normally do your extension conference, and you're moving them either from a trial to a one-year program or from a one-year program to leadership, whatever it is, we typically use the second cartoon, Harry Gets in the Swing of Things, a Lesson in Perseverance, to get the child to start talking about, I want to be a black belt someday. So he's walking around the house saying, Mommy, I want to be a black belt someday, just like Harry wants to be a black belt someday. And so then when you have that maybe little mat chat setting up the extension conference, and you're going to talk to them about maybe looking at a longer term program, that you ask him, has Johnny ever talked about wanting to be a black belt someday? He can't stop talking about it. That's all he talks about, right? So we pique his enthusiasm that way to get over that hurdle. So yeah, that's all baked into the program that we do. But like I said, the most powerful part of this, all these little great supporting systems is wonderful. But if your marketing is promising character development and you're not delivering it, and when I say delivering it, I mean the child's behavior is not actually changing, right? He's still doing the same things. And mom is just what your retention is going to suffer. You're filling up a bucket. Mike, I love the video about, where's the group where they teach you how to enroll 50 new students in a month? Send me a link to that group. I want to go there too. However, if you put 50 people in there and your onboarding process isn't consistent and you're not delivering what your marketing was promising, you're just filling up a bucket with a giant hole in the ball. So this is primarily about fulfilling those promises. So you get the reviews, you get the referrals, and you get the retention that you need. I mean, Mike, how long have you had your school now? Since your first
33 years, maybe.
Wow. We just last year did my 30-year. We did a 30-year reunion. We did an alumni reunion. It was wonderful. But you get to the point now where you have generational retention, where I've got people I taught as children that walk in the door and enroll their children. And, 5-star Google reviews are great. But what happens, what kind of a testimonial is that when somebody wants to enroll their child in the program because they want them to learn the same values you taught them when they were kids, right? That's the kind of retention engine that I'm talking about developing, is that these families are with us for generations.
Oh.
And then they're gone.
How's that for retention?
That's a magic trick right there. Oh, funny, man.
Quick, send them a video.
Yeah, right. Those supportive videos are great, man. I love that idea. I think if someone just literally, if all you did was use the video for the intro, right, and send home a 20-minute cartoon with this kid to get him excited for his next lesson, that in of itself, I would imagine would increase, the enrollment rate.
Well, this program has definitely evolved, and if people understood, so look, very few, I'll just call it out, very few this, Tass, very few martial arts schools have systems in place to really focus on retention. We lost, retention's bad with our guests. Yeah, we lost Dan.
You guys need to have black belt principles.
Yeah, I told Shane, send him a video quick. Hold on, Perry's coming in. But the thing is people, what people's idea of retention is do the best you can. Just teach the best classes. You have to have more than that. There he is. Can you hear us, Dan? Stan, can you hear us?
Oh,
But the thing is if you don't have that in place, there's programs out there that can put them in place
they,
because you're not it's interesting when he says, I say this every year, and you know this at back to school time. We enroll more students in August or September than any other time of the year. And I say it every year.
and
Look and
we,
see what your active count is, and then look and see what your active count is at the end of December. Can you hear us, Stan? Oh, we can't hear you.
yeah, it is crazy. And you know, and the other thing is that there's a lot of people, we just had this, you said this conversation the other day, right? Online, like, you know, stop doing more tasks, right? And get more clarity and do what matters, those things.
Right.
And so sometimes we just check a box because we're doing the task and we read the whatever the lesson of the month was, right? But really didn't present it well, and just read it or just did it and say, yep, we did that. We talk about discipline, right? We do those things, and and it's a system, but it's a bit of a broken system because it's not about what the word is or it's about how it's delivered. It's about how it's, internalized by
Absolutely.
both the kids and by parents, both, right?
There you go, Stan. We got you.
Yeah, and that is the big difference between the way we deliver our character development lesson and the way most people deliver a little bit of a stump speech. What we do is we have the visual aid on the television, and it's a back and forth asking leading questions about the image. Hey, everybody, it's Harry time right now. Let's see what Harry's up to. Where's Harry at? Oh, he's in the martial arts school. Great. And what's he doing? Oh, he's practicing his sidekick. Awesome. Great. Boy, you mean Harry's not playing around? He's not running around. He didn't run off and go see mommy and get a hug. He's actually staying on the mat and working on it. Wow, excellent. I'll bet you that's why Harry is really making. See, look, Harry's a gold belt now. Harry's making progress, right? That's because he stays focused when he's in class. So when we're doing this, they're looking at this visual aid. We're asking leading questions. And if you didn't have the visual aid there, and I went up to everybody, I said, who can tell me what perseverance means? A bunch of hands would go up, and some 5-year-old would tell me, Mr. Stan, I got a puppy. Right? That's what would actually happen, right? So you need to capture their attention, and they need to see things visually, not in their head. You don't know what's going on in their head. It's a scary place in a 5-year-old's head. But if you can put a visual aid up there, you can replace that with something he can relate to and see and understand, and you can ask him leading questions about the image. And then we can flip to the next screen, the next slide, and the next slide has, oh, wow, Harry's been successful because he was doing all the things we were just talking about. Maybe you can do those things, right? And in a lot of the books and in some of the videos, Harry actually breaks the fourth wall like Deadpool, right? He talks directly to the child, right? So like at the end of our retention video, or at the end of here's a great one. At the end of the initial cartoon, the last thing Harry says is, he talks directly to the child. He says, I had such a great time at my first martial arts lesson. Do you know how I found out about martial arts? My friend Curly Bear gave me a special VIP pass so I could come and practice with him. Instructor Dan gave me a VIP pass. Maybe you could come and practice with me. Oh, you're already doing martial arts? You should ask your instructor for a VIP pass to give to your friends. It's a great way to help build our school, right? So he talks directly to them. And believe me, it's one thing to have a bunch of, guest passes to hand out to your friends. Will you please mark it for me? Please, please, please mark it for my, Instead, little Johnny's coming up to me and going, Mr. Stan, Harry said I should ask you for a VIP pass to give to my friends. Hey, no problem, Johnny. I got a whole stack of them here for you, right? So, all of this is built into the systems that we have. It's meant to support all the things that a school owner is doing. It's not just, I know some schools like to get a leadership book or this, that, or whatever and try to promote something, but this is a system designed to communicate to them the way they learn. And all the supporting things is designed to support and build your business along the way. and it delivers the results parents are looking for.
And I'm sure schools can do what they want on this, but in your experience, are you having this as a learn to earn program type deal, or is it a part of what they have to do in order to get to, whether it's a stripe or move their next belt?
Well, with our character development program, we don't actually include it in belt promotions. That's more physical stuff on the mat. But
Yep.
we do have a lot of other things like student of the month that can be influenced by, did you turn in your 4 coloring sheets, so on and so forth. So we can do that kind of thing. So we do have some reward systems in place for doing
Sure.
that. But to tell you the truth, this doesn't require a reward system. They want to be like Harry. They want to do the coloring sheet. They like to color at that age. They want to copy him and do it. It's not something that you have to, you need to go home and clean your room. No, they're doing it because they want to, because they want to be just like their favorite cartoon character.
Yeah, it's
So
interesting, right? I was just
it's
talking
a
to my son
very
about that.
different motivation, especially. And honestly, I'm sure we've all heard the phrase, "It's better to build strong boys than fix broken men." We need to reach the children of this generation at 3, 4, 5, and 6 years old and put character development in their behaviors and habits, because if they don't get it that early, they're never going to get it, to tell you the truth. It's really difficult to change the behavior of a teenager, but it's very easy to get a 3, 4, 5, and 6-year-old to make an abrupt change and start doing something if he's got the right examples to follow.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I love it. There's a difference between push marketing and pull marketing, right? And so when you're having an agenda that you're trying to push your character development, as opposed to, in this case, let the cartoon character pull the kids in, it's a way different experience for them.
Here's a story. When we first developed this, and we had posters, and we had a little picture frame the posters would snap into, and I would turn the poster backwards and lean it up against the wall in the corner of the mat. And we would always do the mat chat the last 2 minutes of the class. So that's all this is designed to do, is the last 2 minutes of class. So we had it there and we started doing it. And I noticed some really strange behaviors, that children would come in for class a little bit early and they would walk over to the edge of the mat and try to peer behind the picture frame that's leaning against the wall to try to see what's Harry up to today? What's he doing? Right? It's almost like the next mat chat is like to us. Do you remember when Game of Thrones was out and you couldn't wait for the next episode? Right? That's the way the kids feel about the mat chat. The mat chat becomes not the boring part where my instructor talks over me, but I can't wait to find out what Harry's up to. It's just like a whole other cartoon to me. Right? So they're so enthusiastic about the life lesson that becomes, they're more interested in that than hitting the bag or getting out there and playing dodgeball. So it really changes the dynamic of what your mat chat becomes to them. It becomes entertainment. It becomes something they're excited about, they have enthusiasm about. And we all know, if you're not enthusiastic about something, you're not learning anything from it. You're not internalizing it. You're not paying attention to it and making it a part of your life if you're not enthusiastic. So yes, speaking to them the way they learn now. All these kids are on their tablets 24 hours a day with animated characters, either playing a game or watching a movie, and they're picking up behaviors from those things. We just need to make sure they're picking up the right behaviors.
So Stan, how does a school owner look into this, find this?
The website right now is harryandfriends.net. If they go to harryandfriends.net, they can find all the information. There's a couple of different levels. We have our kind of our beginner level, and we also have an upgraded one for schools like mine that do after school and summer camp, where you've got kids for 3-4 hours or even 8-10 hours a day. We have upgraded subscriptions where they can get content, where they have daily content, daily projects, a huge amount of material. For schools that are just doing evening classes and don't need that much material, there's a light version they can do. But we're so big on, we've created all this for our school, and then of course we license it out to other martial arts schools around the world. If you need that extra content because you've got kids there for 4 hours a day, and instead of having them argue with each other, you're going to have them do a coloring sheet or a word search or some other maze that contributes to the character development of the child, you need material to fill that space, we've got you covered, right? If you don't, if you've only got your kids for 2 45-minute classes a week, then the light program is fine for you and whatever. There's also some discounts. My wife recently, like I said, this is Harry 3.0 now. This is the third iteration we've done, and we moved everything from a WordPress website to the program called Learn World. It's a very deep and robust, universities use it, right, to provide curriculum. So we've got it all structured in there, and with all the extra material that she's produced for our school. If you've got an after school program, you've got that or whatever. If you purchase, if you want to pay for a year up front, you can get some pretty massive discounts. Or you can just get a yearly license and pay for it by the month. It's really up to you, whatever works best for you.
So we have harryandfriends.net/martial arts schools.
I believe so. Let me double check. Miss Sarah? Let me double check that's right. That's her department. And she is not in the room, so I don't know. But if you click on that link,
it's just going to be
click on that link. I know harryandfriends.net. If you get there, there's a martial arts school button you can press. She's in the process of also developing this. We've done some homeschool shows, and we're building a curriculum in addition that's going to meant, just like the books do, to reach out to the general public outside of the industry. And this is really where we can start developing leads for school owners. This is something that's just in the future that we're in the process of building. That the books already are bestsellers on Amazon. I know there's a lot of people out there that are writing books and teaching people how to write books, but these books are like legitimate Amazon bestsellers. They have a following outside the martial arts industry and can also drive people. If a mom walks in and they've already seen these books, and they see that you're affiliated with it, it's definitely going to be a big plus. But what we want to be able to do eventually is drive people from homeschool, drive people from the general public into all the books demonstrate that martial arts is a source of character development. So any mom that reads this, any child that reads these books, not only are they going to get the character development benefits, they're going to start looking for a martial arts school. And we want to be able to communicate with them and provide them with provide leads to the schools in the area where they live, and that's something that's in the process. But right now the main focus is retention rather than providing new students, but it's coming.
Right. Awesome. Well, any other questions from you, Mr. Shane?
No, I think there's a lot of like I said, yes, it's a character development program, but I think there's a lot of other I'll say small hinges that swing big doors in there. They may seem like little things, but they could be very, very beneficial.
And it's perfectly okay. We have a lot of schools that have separate programs for their bigger kids and just use us for the little kids because it's so effective. So you don't have to uproot your current character development system. Just put us in place to run for your 3 to 6-year-olds, and you're going to see massive changes. And then by the time they're 7 years old, they can wrap their mind around an abstract concept and understand your other systems. But if you're trying to do mat chats made for a conversation with an adult and you're talking to a 4-year-old, you're just making them bored. They're when that 4-year-old stares off into space during your mat chat, he's not communicating that he's not interested in you or he doesn't respect you. He's communicating, I have no idea what he's talking about. That loss of focus is their brain is trying to process an abstract concept that they don't really have internalized or understand. And they're trying very hard to know what you're talking about, but it's not clicking. So if you're getting those
usually happens when I talk to Mike. When I chat with Mike, that usually happens.
Yeah, a lot of times when my wife talks to me, I stare off into space like that. It happens a lot. And the other thing, of course, is just to focus on systems. I know you guys are big on systems. If you really want to create a business that you don't have to spend 24 hours a day in, you need systems providing your character development, not your own personal charisma. So you need to have something that's systematized. Your staff comes in, they already know what they're teaching. It's already done for them. And you don't have to memorize a mat chat with this. It's all done on the PowerPoint. You just click through it. It's all done for you. You don't have to memorize anything. You don't have to spend 45 minutes preparing for your stump speech. It's already done.
And by
You
the
had a
way,
bad day, deliver it differently than you normally would. It's always
Right.
delivered the same way every time.
Mhm.
Yeah, right on.
you said if you're delivering a mat chat, at the end of a class to your kids and it's geared towards adults, they're going to stare off into space. But the majority of people aren't even doing a message of the week or a theme or a mat chat or
Wow.
and if you're not doing that, what martial artists don't understand is that we live in this bubble and we think this is normal. But for a mom or a dad coming off the street that has never been in a martial arts school, all you are if you don't do life skills is a glorified PE class for their kid. And so you got to separate yourselves to make sure, because a PE class is not worth $200 a month or 150 a month or even 100 a month if it's just a PE class, right? Education, life skills, things that we don't teach kids how to add and subtract, read and write. We teach them how to be confident, focused, disciplined, right? Courteous, better people. There's value to that.
Shane, how much would you pay to get your daughter to clean her room?
I mean, listen, I took her door off. When she was a kid, I took her door off of her room for a month. Oh, there he goes.
He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to hear it, Tess.
And maybe he'll jump back on that we can close up. But as he was talking, I can't help but think how some people finish their day, their class, right, with their lesson of the month, as an example, right. And in some cases, that lesson of the month that they finish the day with is what bores the child and is not getting them excited. So we always talk about finish with a fun, and oftentimes, right, we'll do the lesson of the month in the beginning of class, but it's to finish with the fun. But in this particular case, you reverse engineer that because all kids love cartoons, right? That does become finishing with the fun, which is interesting.
That's right. Yeah, there's a lot of great things, Dan. Great product. School owners should take a look. The site's on there. This is going to live and be, replayed and viewed and live in all the sites. And let's see. Yep. And, and it's funny because this has evolved. How long has this been out, Stan?
We started licensing it to other martial arts schools back in 2006.
20 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Not quite as long as you've been a whatever belt in jiu-jitsu, but almost.
We don't want to talk about that. I think Mike and I have been training longer than any other under black belt in the country, I would say. I say we've been training longer than anyone who isn't already a black belt.
I would probably agree with that. And man,
don't feel bad.
And by the way, Stan,
in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, he still outranks me. I'm only an old school purple belt.
Well, I'm a very old school now brown belt.
Yes.
Because
Well, ever since our instructor at the time, of course, I was still with him, and ever since he went back to Brazil, and now he's in Europe. So my rank progression has stalled when he's 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 miles away.
Sure.
And I'm blessed to have some really tough, great instructors and people. Even Ricardo Laborio now says he wants to come and work with me every Wednesday.
Awesome.
Just privately, and I'm blessed to have some great people.
If I-4 didn't separate us, I'd be there with you.
Oh, but I did I-4 yesterday.
I won't drive I-4 even to come see you, Mike. I'm sorry, it's too much. I give up. Horrible. I tap to I-4.
Well, Stan, thank you, my friend, and good luck with the fun stuff on the yacht and traveling, and safe travels there.
Yeah, for those of you on the podcast that didn't know, I spend half the year on my yacht in the Caribbean. That's what systems can do for you if you're interested in systems.
Right. Just be careful. Don't get hit by a missile.
Yeah, I was a little worried. I replaced the American flag on the yacht with like this 6 foot by 6 foot one. because I'm like, Grenada is just one island away from Venezuela. So when all that is going on and there all those drug boats, you see those blowing up, I took the American flag that was about this big and replaced it with one that was this big,
Smart.
just to make sure anybody with that drone and zooms in on there sees that it's an American yacht.
Yeah,
Right.
That's awesome. That's awesome,
it.
my friend. Well, we appreciate it. We appreciate all the info, and school owners can check it out again, harryandfriends.net.
And of course, at the event, we're going to be there. Come to the booth, spin the wheel, win a discount, win a book. We're gonna be present at Jumpstart. We're a major sponsor, and can't wait to talk to you guys.
Sounds great, and I hope to see everybody in a couple weeks. March 27th, 28th, and we're right under 400 people right now coming.
Excellent.
So hopefully everyone will make it in. I don't think weather should impact anybody right now in this time of year. But anyway, we appreciate it. And, sir, we'll see you in a few weeks.
Thank you. See you then, sir.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Everyone.
Pleasure. Bye-bye.